Hi there, my name's Beth, and today I have for you my August wrap-up. August has seemed to have flown by, and I did quite a bit of reading this month, so I am going to be talking about that. I probably will not have a September TBR, and that is because of the mess happening behind me. That is because I am moving as of honestly, as soon as tomorrow, September, nope. Well, I get the keys Friday, and I could be moving in as soon as Saturday, so 2 days. Everything here is just happening so fast. But yes, so that is why this is disastrous behind me. I am in the middle of packing, but I really wanted to get my August wrap up done and up for you guys. Also, I don't know when my next video is going to go up. I do have a haul video that I filmed a week or so ago, so I might schedule that to go up during this coming week just so that you guys are getting content, because with the move, I don't know when I'm going to have internet again, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to sit down and film again. So yeah, I am a stressed little bean right now. And anyways, you're not here to listen about that. You're here to listen to me ramble on about books. I have so much energy right now. So I'm going to talk to you about the books I did read in August and the book I started. And I read a total of 9 books for the month, which is probably one of the biggest wrap-ups I'm going to be doing. I think the reading rush really helped get me back into the mood of reading. So this is what I read. I read 9 books in the course of a month, and I started a 10th, and I had intentions of reading another one, but it's the 29th today, so there are a couple of days left, but with moving and everything, I'm not going to be able to tell you about it. So I figured today's a good day to do it. I have the day off. I'm in the middle of packing, and I'm motivated, kind of. So distract myself with a wrap up. So yes. So let's get right into it now that I've been talking for 2.5 minutes. So the first book I have to show you is Hollow City by Ransom Riggs. This is the sequel to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the second book in the series. And this book picks up right after the events of Miss Peregrine's left off. I really like that about this series. I'll talk more about that because I did read another book from this series, but actually did 2 others, but I will talk about that in a bit. I'm not going to give too much away because this is a sequel, and yes, but I gave this a 4, and yeah, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was really fast paced. Actually, I think I may have given it 4.5 stars, but yes, really enjoyed. 10 out of 10 recommend. The next book I picked up, I wanted to take a little bit of a break from Miss Peregrine's world and all that, and I wanted to read something a little easier. Plus, I saw a video from a different booktuber who did a top 10 audiobook recommendations, and they really recommended the audiobook version of this book, which is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Eller Sands. I might be saying that completely wrong, and I'm really sorry if I am, but this book is so beautiful. It revolves around 2 main characters, Aristotle and Dante, and they build a beautiful friendship together, and you follow the friendship and potentially more that comes out of this. Both of these boys are LGBTQ+, and you see the trials and tribulations within their lives while following a friendship story at its core. This book is beautiful and poetic, and the reason I picked this up is because in that audiobook recommendation video, the booktuber said that this book is narrated by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I just love listening to him speak, so I figured listening to this book would be perfect, and it was. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend if you have not read it, but since this is BookTube, everyone has read it, so yes. So the next book I picked up was More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. This is the first Adam Silvera book I have read, and this also follows an LGBTQ plus character. Our main character is a boy who lives in a not so great neighborhood, but they live in a world where they have the Lateo Institute, and that can potentially erase memories and such. And so we see him struggle with his sexuality and seeing if he wants a procedure from the Lateo Institute, all while forming this friendship that turns into slightly something more with another boy. I have a full book review for this book with all my thoughts and feelings. I will say this book is beautiful. It is heartbreaking. It is hard to read sometimes, and yet it is probably one of my new favorite books. This month, I discovered 2 books that I just completely fell in love with, and this was one of them. So if you have not read it, I highly recommend it. There are some stronger, triggering issues in this book, but I talk about that in my book review. So if you want to see more of my thoughts on that, please check that out down below. I will link it. Yes. So after that, I decided to pick up Library of Souls, the 3rd book in the Miss Peregrine series, also by Ransom Riggs, of course. And this book, again, follows right after the events of Hollow City. Yes, Hollow City. It was so good. Again, I'm not going to say too much just because it is a sequel and it is the 3rd book in a series. And if you have not read the 1st book, I don't want to give anything away. But yes, I really liked how this was written. I really liked the action, and I gave this book a 5-star as well. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I gave both of these books 5 stars as well. I just had a really good reading month this month. So after Library of Souls, I picked up a slightly different book again, and that is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I got it right. So this book is a young adult mystery, contemporary mystery kind of, which takes place following these 5 characters who all at the very start of the book get detention, and while in detention, one of the 5 falls ill and dies. And then throughout the series, or throughout the book, we see all 4 of the rest of the characters be kind of set up to be shown as they could potentially have done it. It is a mixture of like The Breakfast Club mixed with Gossip Girl, and I really liked it. There is a sequel to this book coming out in the next couple of months, I believe, if not by the end of the year, and I'm really excited for it. I think it follows one of the side characters and a new group of people, but it's in the same world, and I really enjoyed this. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The audiobook version of this book has main characters, like a different cast member for each character. It also kind of has each chapter is told in the perspective of a different character, so you get all of the characters' perspectives to make up the whole story. It was really well done. It just wasn't my favorite, and I still gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I am rambling so much, but I have so much to talk about, and I want to get through all of this while giving you the most detail possible. But yes. So I said back when I was talking about More Happy Than Not that I found 2 of my new favorite books, and this is the second one. This was Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This book I loved. I could not put it down. Every time, it is 400 pages. I'm not the fastest reader, but I read so much of this, and then anytime I would stop to do something else, I just kept thinking, oh, I can't wait to get back to it. I loved this. I give this a 5 out of 5 stars. This gave me such fangirl vibes. It was so well done. It's just a fun, cute, light, fluffy kind of contemporary that has all the things you could ever want. And it centers around a girl who is a regular high school student in the real world, and yet when she logs online, she is the author of this magic fantasy world, but nobody knows it's her. Yeah. If you are going to read this book, I do not recommend reading the front synopsis because I found it gave away the entire story. I read probably a third of this book and then read the synopsis just to see actually what it was supposed to be about. reading through, there were parts in the book where I'm like, well, when does this happen? I'm almost at the end. I didn't like the synopsis, but I still just loved the story. It was so good, and I highly recommend this if you were a fan of Fangirl, or if you were just looking for a new contemporary book that revolves around fandom and fan fiction and just books within books. So yeah, highly recommend. So the next book I picked up was A Map of Days. This is the fourth book in the Miss Peregrine series. This is the last book that is currently out, and the fifth book is coming out sometime. Ransom Riggs posted a cover reveal on Instagram a couple of days ago, actually. So I'm super excited. All of the covers are just so beautiful. But this book picks up right at the end of Library of Souls, of course. I really liked how he did that because you see the entire journey, and yet with this book you get the aftermath. You get that after happily ever after. I mean, not that Library of Souls ends in a happily ever after, but most series I find give you the conclusion. They give you a tie-up. They give you an ending that they want, and you never see what happens after and how other characters react. You get the main character's perspective, where with this series, I find, with this book specifically, I really enjoyed how they took this whole thing that happened between the first three books and brought it into a different reality and made it so that not everything is always what it seems. If that does not make sense and you have read this book, I'm sorry, but I really liked that aspect of it. And I cannot wait for the fifth book to come out. So, yes. I am rambling. I'm sorry. So, the next book I picked up was Illuminated by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in the Illuminated Files trilogy. I have all three books now. I don't know if I've hauled the third book yet, because I know I have, but I don't know if you've seen it yet. So this book I gave a 4. Actually, I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars, just in case I didn't mention that. But I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I listened to the audiobook for this book, and I think that might have been the better option, because in the actual book, it's broken down into files and stuff, like different files of that make up the story. And in the audiobook, they are very, like, they have different voices for every character, and they have different aspects, and it's very, like, dramatic to listen to as an audiobook, where I don't think I would have gotten the same experience out of this as a physical book, which I think continuing on in the trilogy, I'm going to keep listening to them as audiobooks, just because I think that was the most enjoyable experience. So I don't even know how to explain this book. This book is a sci-fi mystery. Yeah. And it starts off basically with the world ending and these characters having to live on a spaceship, or 2 spaceships. But yeah, I don't want to say too much because I don't really know how to explain this book. It was really good. I did enjoy it, and I will continue on with the series, but I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So the final book I actually finished this month was The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I have read a Morgan Matson book before, I believe. If not, this is the first one I have read. And this is a young adult contemporary that takes place over the course of one summer with this girl who seems to have her life all figured out until something happens that changes everything and her life gets thrown into chaos. Isn't that how all the best young adult contemporaries happen? I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the story I really enjoyed how the author told this story. There were quite a lot of different tropes in this book that just seemed a little predictable. And there seemed to be quite a bit of unnecessary conflict in this book. There were aspects where the author could have not done certain things and the story would have remained the same. The only thing is she added in a conflict that was kind of out of nowhere and unnecessary and didn't really add anything to the story. So, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite. However, I did still enjoy it, so I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I feel like a lot of these books are either a 4 or a 5, and that's just because I do enjoy them. They are fun, light, contemporary, or fun, lighter reads. It's nothing super serious, and I did enjoy it, so I'm not going to give it a low rating. However, will I pick it up again? I'm not sure, but the ending is very cute, and I am a big sucker for a cutesy love story. So, yeah. So, the final book I actually picked up this month. I had a bit of time to kill while I was sitting at the library, waiting to go see the apartment that I'm just moving into. And yeah, that's how fast this is all happening. But I picked up this book at random off the shelf and started to read it because I had a bit of time. And I bought the book because I got like 70 pages in and just wanted to keep going and thought, well, I actually want to own this book. So, and that is Dahl Bones by Holly Black. I am probably 148 pages into this book right now. This is a middle grade book. Yes, this is not a YA. All of the other books I read this month were YA. But this is a middle grade book that follows our three main characters, Zach, Poppy, and Alice, as they try to get the doll back to its grave so that its spirit can stop haunting them. It is everything I've wanted in a kind of creepy book, but again, it's middle grade, so it's not like that creepy, but it's still a fun little adventure. So that's what you're getting from this, because I am not done yet, but I don't know if I will finish it before the end of the month. So anyways, that is all I have for you for today. That's all 9.5 books I read this month. And as I said earlier, I don't know if I'll have a September TBR, just because I am moving. I don't know when and where my books are going to be for the next few days, and I don't want to promise anything and not keep up with it. I will have a September wrap-up because you've got to believe I'm going to be reading this month, especially if I don't have internet. So books are going to be the way to go. And yes, so down below I will link my August TBR so you can see what I did and did not read that I hoped to read, and I will link the More Happy Than Not review. So you can see all of my thoughts on that one. I am a lot more detailed in that review than I was rambling here. Yes, anyways, until next time, have a great day or night, and I will see you again soon.